Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to sunny Arizona. I am out here. I'm on a private mining claim, and I'm going to be doing me a little dry washing today. I know you ask, what the hell's a dry washer? Some of you guys know what a dry washer is. Out here in the desert, a dry washer is about the best way to get gold, unless I want to haul a lot of water with me. And then that's a pain in the ass, and I got to deal with the muck and emptying the buckets and all that type of crap. So I'm going to use a dry washer. I'll explain how that dry washer works. I'll show you how that dry washer works. And I want to see if I can get me some gold. Gold, yeah, we all love gold, don't we? So I just can't grab a spot, throw out the dry washer, and get to digging. First, I got to find that special spot. So let me show you around here. This wash. No particular reason why I picked this wash, but I did. So as I'm walking around, see there's a pile of rocks right there. That tells me somebody has done that. There's some dry wash tailings right here. There's a mud daub right there, somebody done with mud. And now here's bedrock right here. All of this right there, see? That's good right there. That's good to get into. There we go. And it's low right here. It's going to trap all that gold as it's coming down. Oh, yeah, that's nice. This is all tailings in here. All of this is all tailings in here. Somebody's dug into this bank right there, see? Got all the way into there. There's more tailings here. All of this. I like that. And this will keep going. This is kind of like a dike, and this will keep going down. Let's see if this is my special spot, though. The sun is just now coming up. Here in Arizona, we got to get out early in the morning to do any digging, because once that sun gets up, it starts to warm up really quick. We are summertime now. More of that bedrock. Somebody's dug right there. There's a little feeder wash right there somebody's been into. And they've thrown all this, that's rocks they've thrown up on the banks. Right here too, this is all tailings. All through here is all tailings. Somebody's done a lot of work right through here. They moved all of this out of here. Actually, this kind of looks good too. All of this right in through here. This all looks good. Look at that. Maybe I'll get into some of that. This bank here. These are all tailings in through here. Man, they've done a lot of work in through this place. These are all tailings. This is more of a hard pack right here. Deteriorated hard pack. More of your bedrock right here. Oh, yeah, I like this area. Yeah, look, they've done a lot of work in here. Ooh. I think I'm going to set up right here. Closer to the truck, too, where I back down in at, but I'm going to set up right here. Kind of like this right here. There's a lot of rock in there. These are tailings up here. But you can see where it's kind of ran in the river. Or not the river, but the wash is when it's flash flooded. You can see the layers. You can almost see the black sands in here too. But you can see the layers as this ran down here, pushed down in here, how it laid these rocks in like that. So this all looks good. So I think I'm going to get into this. That's what I'm going to tear into, all of this right here. That's what I'm going to set up. So I got to bring all my equipment down here and set it up. That's a pain in the ass. Quartz all over the ground here. Quartz all over the ground. Whew, man. I'm already worn out. Got my Pepsi already. I'm going to be using the big dry washer, the Keen 151. I'll show you that dry washer. You know, I can already hear some of you people saying, why don't I sample first before I decide where to set up at. You know, generally in areas, that's what you would do, is sample first before you set up. But guess what? Everybody else has already sampled for me, if you know what I mean. There's samples all over the place up and down this wash. I'm going to go off the theory that they didn't do all this work up and down this wash just because they were bored. This dry washer is known as the 151. This is Keen 151. The model that's after this one is the 151S. Let me show you the difference. The difference between the 151S is you'll have a carpet like underneath your screen. You've got bumpers here that kind of keep this, you know, from doing this, which supposedly it transfers the vibration into the box. They've also got a plate back here, which is a very good idea to have a plate back here. And it's got pegs on it to help kind of, I guess, separate the dirt as it comes down, but not so much the pegs. What's good is the plate that's right here. The reason I like that, because when your material drops down onto this carpet or this material, it tends to eat a hole right here. So it's good to have a plate right here first. So I kind of cheat a little bit. I have this plate right here that I can shove up into there. And any fine gold can drop out through here too, though. You get caught up here in the beginning. Just like that. We call this the big boy, the Keen 151. Generally, this dry washer, 2 people can feed it. But I'm selfish. I can feed it myself. Got a 1/2-inch screen up on top. And your motor, let me show you the motor. Regular, generally, these are Honda motors. Yeah, this one's a Honda. But this has heat induction. So off the manifold, the heat that comes off of that, it sucks up that heat through here and puts it back up into the box. So if your material is a little bit damp, it'll help kind of dry that damp material. I got this branch right above my head that I keep banging into that I'm not going to like. I got to get rid of that. I can tell that. Should have a pair of loppers with you. Now, if you've never seen a dry washer, I'll show you inside this dry washer here. There's a fan in there. And so what happens is when that air blows in, it spins that fan. And that fan is what blows air up into the box. There's also, you see, a counterweight. That throws it out of balance. So that's what causes the shaking action. And then you notice your riffles. This is a Hungarian style riffle. And then you've got just your normal riffle at 45 or 90 degrees, whatever you want to call them. And they're also backwards. You'll notice, like, rather than on a sluice box. When the dirt comes down, the heavies get caught in front of these. And then there's this dead air space behind the riffles, or there's supposed to be a dead air space where the material gets in, your heavies, your gold, and then it won't blow itself back out. But that's basically a dry washer. Now, it is true that gold separates better in water than it does with air. You get better recovery in water than using air, but I can run a whole lot more material through this dry washer than I can using a wet system. So it kind of compensates for it. But that's what I'm going to do. Now, the hardest part of all this is I have to pick into this bank to get me some material to run. So, as they say in the movies, let me get a picking. Ooh, you can smell it. It's kind of that musky smell. That's gold.
I packed in my job and I made up my mind to spend my life looking for gold. That old gold bug really bit me good, and I'm doing so I've been told.
The reason I know that these down here are not tailings, they got too big of rocks in them. Tailings won't have big rocks, they'd all be the same size. Nice flat rock. with a rock like that. If you're out here in the desert by yourself or something, you take rocks like that, you can make your little fire pit and put this rock on top. This can be a cooking rock. You can put your bacon up here and beans and hamburgers, and you can cook off of that rock. That's what we call a special rock. Whew. Like I say, the picking, that's the hardest part. That's the part that wears me out the most, is all that picking. But I got to get a shovel in before it gets too hot. It's already starting to warm up. Let me get this motor fired up, start a shovel.
It really got me and I'm hooked as long as I'm alive. Go, 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 bee-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Go, 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 bee-ba-ba-ba. I got that good dream that guarantees to shut go like tornadoes shut across the plain. Special hammers for breaking up stuff that goes united to the light of day. With my long hip weight is like a gumboot bill, a water bag and gold pans too. I'm loaded for there and I'm headed out there. Come along if you're a hankering to. There's no easy explanation for your bed behind.
You know, I don't like to wear masks. You probably should wear a mask. It gets pretty dusty. That is one of the downfalls of a dry washer. They can get pretty dusty. And you can get a lot of black boogers. The pitch on my box, I like to run it as flat as I can. I like to keep that material up on the box as long as possible before it falls off. Once you do all the picking and shoveling up in here, then you just fill your box full. Then you kind of take a little break and then just kind of rake it down. Just rake it down. Get that all cleaned out, then fill the box back up again. See, I'm starting to get into a damper material. Even though it's dry out here in the desert, that's damp, that's underground. It still can get damp. It's got rocks in it, so that'll help aerate it out, mix in with it. That'll be all right. But if you get material and you grab it, just dirt, and it clumps together and don't break apart, it's probably almost too wet to run. But this will be all right. Into kind of this clay material. And this is like, it's just breaking apart, but it's like deteriorated clay, or it is clay, deteriorated bedrock maybe, that's been underground for so long it's just decomposed. But this is nice stuff, nice and red dirt, full of irons and mineralization. All of this whole bank right here, This is all good stuff, untouched. I can smell the gold. Woo, baby. Woo. It's starting to get warm. That almost, see that kind of clumps together? It's almost getting too wet to run, but with the heat on here, if I try to mix this with a little bit of dry dirt with this more moisture dirt to help it run better. You know, if you feel the material's too wet, run that twice if you wanted to. I generally don't like to, but if I have to, I can. Sometimes I do, but generally I don't. I think I'm about done. I think I'll let that run for a moment, finish cleaning itself out, and I think I forgot to bring a bucket to put my concentrates in. Uh-oh. I hope I didn't. I did. If I had one, it blew out. Crap. I have a bucket. I do have one of these gold catcher gold pans. I can't put it in this and just set it in the front to haul back. You got to pan it anyway, so what the hell? That's what I got to do. My own fault. I had a bucket sitting there, but I forgot. Now you're walking around. Look where you're walking. That would suck if I stepped into that, wouldn't it? There's my Pepsi can. I better pick it up. I'll get it before that should be pretty well cleaned out. Good. Oh, man. I don't know how long I ran for. Not a whole lot. Got me a little bit of tailings. Generally, I only like to do maybe 20-minute runs. Especially if you're in an area with a lot of black sands. Once them black sands fill up in your riffles, you're pretty well done, because any gold is just going to ride right over the top of that black sands and back out, because the black sands are heavy. So keep an eye on your box. Some people use a magnet, and they may put their magnets in there, stuff like that, to check it out. But keep an eye on your riffles, and like I say, if it's filling up with black sands, clean it out. But let me clean this up now. If you had a metal detector, you should always check your tailings. But I don't think there's anything in this pile, because I don't think no nuggets that I've ever seen have been bigger than a ½ inch come off of this here. But sometimes them flatter pieces of bigger gold can just ride right over the top of that and fall right off. So it's always good to check this pile here if you have a metal detector. All right. Sometimes after you run these, little rocks and that and sand can get in between here, and it's a bitch to pull these out of here. But that came out smooth. I don't know what to do. Let me get rid of this here. So see, down here underneath that screen is just more finer stuff. Oh, see, yeah, a lot of black sand's in there. It's full of black sand. Sometimes you can just give them a little shake backwards, and then you can see the gold in there. But man, look at all that black sand. It's loaded with black sands. Ew. Could be a good indication. Oh, I thought I saw a piece of gold right there. Wow. Could be good. Could be really, really good. That's all it is. I say the S's just have like a carpet, a screen that goes up in there. Have a more pain in the ass. I like the older style. I like the 151, just regular rather than that S style. Like I say, I use that plate up there. Simple. I got one big good pan to pan out. Well, I guess the sucky thing is I got to carry all this stuff back up and put it back in the truck. Setting up and tearing down. That's the sucky part. Sometimes when you're here, it's just like you just want to camp out. You know, if I had my RV right here, that'd be perfect. I just go out, run dirt, go back in, sit down again. That'd be the life, wouldn't it? I know that Next week, I'm going to Colorado. Going to be doing me some dredging. Woo-hoo. Stay tuned for those videos if you like dredging. We'll be dredging for some gold in Colorado. Just ride real nicely right there. See the low one, I'm gonna put the riffles on the low one just because as it vibrates, it won't spill out, hopefully. Actually, let me sit down on the floor. That'll be a little more better. I'll tell you what. That's how I get my exercise. All right, I just always like to check my area, make sure I didn't leave anything. This is quartz right there. Okay. These are trumpet plants right here. It's a good sign, huh? That's why they're growing right here. There's a lot of mineralization right here. But I ran a little bit of material. That's probably, what would you say that is? Maybe 5 classified buckets, maybe? Maybe 6, 7 classified buckets. Maybe a little bit more. So, I did a nice little run. If there's gold, I can always come back. That's the secret. I can always come back. Well, now I'm going to head back to the campground. I'll pan this out. We'll see if we got any gold. So, see you back at the campground. This is the tub I'm going to use. I got to put some water in here on my concentrates. There's a lot of black sand in there. There's a ton of black sand in there. It's the only classifier I can find. I'll need a couple of these other pans too. Gotta have a catch pan. All right, I'll let that fill up for a moment. All right, that should be enough water, I think. Okie dokie. Let's see if we got any color in here. I'm going to put, I'll just do this in little increments here. Put some of this in there like that. Any nice little gold in there. Once that's wet, mixed in with that stuff, that would shine. It would shine just as yellow as can be. Like stars at nighttime, but there's no gold in it. Okay. Oh, there's not a lot of material at all in there. I'm going to use this as a safety pan because I tend to, look at all that black sand. Woo, I tend to pound a little fast. So I always like to use a safety pan. Ton of black sand in that. Wow. That was that red dirt probably I got into. That was highly mineralized. But, telltale sign, is there any gold? Is there any gold? Well, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. There's a lot of black sand in there. Let me take a little peek here. Take a little peek. Well, I didn't know. There's a flick in there. There was a flick. I saw a flick. One little flick. Let me just put that there. Let me get some more material there. I'd like to find a nice big picker in there. little nugget in there. That would sure be sweet. That would sure be sweet. Let me do another little sneaky peek. Oh yeah, okay, now I'm seeing the gold. Yes, a lot better. A lot better. A lot better. Let me show you this. I have to take this down a little bit further. Get rid of a lot of this black sand. See the gold? See it all right there? It's fine gold. Once I get this clean, there's a nice little bigger piece right there. There's another nice little bigger piece right there. I'll clean this up a little bit further. See, there's nice little pieces. I'll clean this up further and give you a better view. Okay, I got more to pan out here, so let me just go through this safety pan really fast here just to make sure that I didn't look. Oh, that thing's heavy. It's loaded with black sand. You know, the gold can, sometimes that black sand can be heavier than your gold. And that's why it's hard to keep all your gold. So you do lose gold once in a while. Even the best panners lose gold once in a while. See, like right there? That's why I use the safety pan. There's a piece right there. That was it though. I'll put that in with my other stuff. And then I will. I'm not going to use a screen. I'm just going to pan this out. I'll just pan this out. What the heck? See how red that dirt is? Man, that's some nice red dirt in there. Heavier than a normal pan, that's for sure. It's all black sands. Tons of black sands. Let me just kind of peek in there. I saw a little bit. I think I just lost a flick. If I did, it's in my safety pan if I did. Yep, there's some more in there. Trying to clean this out a little bit better, get rid of some of this black sand so it's not so much black sand. Let me show you this here. See it? All that, all gold. Let me put it all together and show you a better picture. If I had a magnet, I could get rid of a lot of this black sands in here and eliminate this tedious process of trying to get rid of some of this black sands just by panning it out. But you got to be very careful when you do this, because hopefully the gold is in the back. So I'm just kind of getting rid of the black sands in the front of this. Keeping an eye, making sure no gold is coming down with it. Just always make sure you use a safety pin. See, there's a piece of gold right there. Let me continue this process, this tedious process. All right, I had to go get a magnet. I'm using a magnet to get in there. It doesn't pick up the gold. I mean, it doesn't, gold's non-magnetic, but it can pinch the gold and take it with it. So I like to do it and then put it on the other side of the pan. Go through it a couple times, making sure it didn't pinch any gold, and then put that into another pan. Keep doing that a few times. Make sure it didn't take no gold with it. You always do it in the water too. All that is picking up, that's magnetite. And the black sands that don't get picked up, that's hematite. See, I pretty well got all the magnetite out, and then what's left is the hematite. Okay. The rest of this stuff, if I can kind of get rid of it on my own. Just kind of get rid of some of these black sands, make sure that no gold comes with that. Keep bringing that back. And then get rid of that. Make sure there's no gold in there. No gold in there, okay. I'll repeat that process a time or two. Oh yeah, that's decent gold. That's decent gold. For what I ran, I'm happy with that. I'll show you there. Let's see if I can give you guys a close-up of that gold. That's not bad. That's not bad for the buckets that I ran. Well, I may not be able to retire on that gold, but I tell you what, for what I ran, that's pretty good gold. So, you know what will happen to that gold? It'll end up in a pay dirt bag somewhere along the line, maybe in a prize wheel or something like that. Who knows? Like I say, I don't keep my gold, I give it away. But anyways, that's it. Got to get out and do me a little bit of dry washing this morning. Now I get to go hide as it starts to warm up. But hey, I sure want to thank you guys coming along and sharing on these adventures. Get out, create your own adventure. Remember that life is an adventure. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a fantastic day.
Load up a truck, it's time to roll. With hearts so wild and a common goal. Chasing the goal, we're ready for the thrill. Through mountains and rivers, we'll climb every hill. With the sun on our backs, we take our stand, uncovering treasures buried in this land. This gold fever's got us running wild. In the heart of the land, we feel like a child. Adventures await in the great unknown. Together we chase dreams never alone. With metal detectors singing in the breeze, we dig for the fortune, uncovering keys. With a gold pan in hand, we sift through the dirt. Each little glimmer makes our hearts surge. By the firelight's glow, our laughter rings as we dream of the riches tomorrow brings.
Stuff right there.
Fever's
We
got
did good,
us
man.
running.
The gold mine.
I got you. We feel like a child. Adventures await in the great unknown.
Oh, ain't that cool? Or is this like the three, I was gonna say something bad, but that'll work.
Is that better?
There you go, that's good.
Our laughter rings as we dream of the riches tomorrow brings. This gold fever's got us running wild. In the heart of the land we feel like a child. Adventures await in the great unknown. Together we chase dreams never alone. So here's to the nights beneath the stars. With our hearts full of dreams we'll go far. This gold fever's got us running wild. In the heart of the land, we feel like a child. Adventures await in the great unknown. Together we chase dreams never alone. Alone. So here's to the nights beneath the stars. With our hearts full of dreams, we'll go far.